Welcome back to Rokinjima. Last episode, we found the dead bodies of Rodolphe, Kyrie, Rosa, Goda, what else? Cross and Shannon. 6 people died last episode, and I was quite surprised, but it seems that the culprit is really following the Epitaph pretty closely. So we can expect at least in the next episodes, we can expect 2 more people dying because of the second part of the modus operandi. So let's start reading. All that could be heard was the sound of the rain, the voices from the kids' television program that Maria was watching. And the engrossed Maria, Cackling's voice. In other words, what greeted them as they returned, dumbfounded for their horrible, bizarre scene, was the voice of Maria as she rolled around laughing at the television. Not knowing how to explain to Maria that her mother, Rosa, was dead, those who returned to the room couldn't manage any more than a suffocating silence. Yeah, I mean, how can you explain that to Maria that her mother is dead, that she's never going to see her again, and that she's going to be living with one of her cousins now because of it. Or maybe everyone is going to die. Who knows? At first, Maria returned their stares with a dubious look. But when she realized that they weren't trying to blame her for anything, she ignored them and again immersed herself in the television program. At the music. The children wordlessly sat down on the sofa. Their minds were probably blank from their state of shock. Though they had all cried and mourned so much, now they just vaguely sat there, their faces expressionless. Only Cannon had returned to his usual calm expression. However, that probably didn't mean he had been able to wipe out the shock. Nothing was reflected in his eyes as he stared into the emptiness. They need to rise to the occasion. Hideyoshi, fidgeting as he remembered that horrible scene, kept murmuring, "Unbelievable. That can't be something of this world. It's the work of the devil." Every once in a while, he returned these questions and bounced them off Nanjo. And Nanjo, in a calm, doctorly manner, kept repeating that nothing could be understood by only glancing at the scene, and that until the police arrived, he wouldn't know anything. However, Nanjo only appeared calm by comparison to Hideyoshi, who could not contain his agitation and fear. In fact, Nanjo also received a huge shock, and his face was deathly pale. Maybe it was because of their attitudes that Natsuhi tried to rise to the challenge and take control. Yes, Natsuhi, can you be the main character, please? Battler isn't doing anything right now. Natsuhi was apparently unchanged from her normal attitude, and she briskly gave directions.
私はお父様のところへ行ってきます。現時は急ぎ警察へ連絡を。
かしこまりました。
私も一緒させていただいていいかしら、夏日姉さん。クラウス兄さんがいなくなった以上、お父様の補佐は私の仕事だもの。その私が夏日姉さんに任せっきりで、ここでくつろいでいるわけにはいかないわ。
Even after half her siblings, all of their siblings died, Ava is still... Oh my... Am I suspecting Ava? Yes, I am. She's the only direct blood relative left right now. Yeah, Rosa, Rudolph, and Kyrie died. But remember that any one of them could still be alive and faking their death. Natsuhi was struck speechless by Eva's aggressive actions in a situation like this. Yes, even I'm suspecting. It seems that she was claiming that with Cross dead, the only one to take responsibility should not be his wife, but herself, the next highly ranked on the family. Even after everything that happened, she's still wanting to get one up over Natsuhi. Possibly she was not happy that Natsuhi was ignoring her and handling matters herself in this extreme situation. What are you going to do, Eva? Of course, even Eva's mind had been blank from the shock until just now. She only returned to herself after Natsuhi started giving orders.
お好きになさるといいでしょう。
Natsuhi walked out without saying anything more. Eva followed behind her. Oh, that scared me. Mere moments after they left, Kamasaw ran into the parlor. Since she wasn't the kind of person to run around, it would be normal to sense that something had happened. But since everyone had been stricken by that earlier shock, none of them took any notice of this trivial difference.
奥様奥様夏日姉さんならお父さんのところへ行ったですぐ戻ってくるやろ。どないしたんや熊沢さん。それが食堂に血が。
Ooh, the thunder again. Everyone in the parlor turned to silence. It feels a little bit strange. Everyone thought the same thing. I hope I misheard that. Just like how any container has a limit to how much you can put it in. No one felt like they could accept any more tragedies beyond what had already happened. So they all thought it. I hope I misheard that.
なんやて食堂
朝食の準備に食堂に配膳に行ったら
The first to start running was George. His harsh footsteps jogged Hideyoshi and Nanjo to their senses, and they chased after him. Wow, George! Okay, so you're rising up. I thought Battler would be. Battler and the others followed. Yeah, Battler, you need to rise. They flew into the dining hall, one after the other, but they didn't find any change that would cause Kamasaw to go pale. To those who have viewed that gruesome scene in the storehouse, it was a bit of an anticlimax. However, Kamasaw, who had followed them, pointed out there really was some traces of blood on the floor. Compared to the terrible scene, it was not very dramatic. However, if you calmly thought about it, it was definitely indicated a lot of blood. The loss of a lot of blood.
ここにも血だまりがあるよ。
Oh. Maybe they died here.
これは一体
And they were carried to the storeroom?
だいぶ時間が経っているように見えます
I'm
な。
not trusting anything that Nanjo says.
おそらく昨べここで殺されたんだと見ていいで
Even
しょ
if he agrees with my theories, I'm throwing my theories out the window. They weren't killed here. They were killed someone else. Someplace else. Maybe, I don't know.
そういうことになるんやろな。
No.
わしらは昨べずっと食堂で話し合いをしとった。
And Hideyoshi and Eva left. Doesn't this feel weird? Ava and Hideyoshi left the conference, even though Ava is one of the most fierce competitors to the... Okay, I think I already have my biggest suspects right now.
そしてここに何者かが押し入ったに違いない。
父さんたちが打ち合わせを抜けて休んだのは何時だっけ？
昨夜の24時を少し過ぎたくらいの
Now
頃
just say they
や。
died midnight. So they are lying right here. They are lying. Oh my god. If you believe Nanjo, then Hideyoshi is lying.
だからその後にと考えるんが妥当やろな。
Hideyoshi, you're such a bad liar. What the fuck?
マジかよ。勘弁してくれよ。お嬢様、しっかり。
Maybe... Could it be a tag team by Ava, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, Kyrie, and Rosa to kill off Kraus? Goda and Shannon were just casualties. Could I be onto something here? Because Rudolph said that he was going to die yesterday, and I think that could have been some sort of signal or something. Because their faces are completely... Maybe they had some corpses on the boat that... I don't know. This theory is a bit far-fetched, I know. But I guess they got rid of Cross. That's the important part.
俺はもうさっきの倉庫でこの世の地獄ってやつを拝んじまったから、今さらこのくらいじゃ答えねえぜ。
そうかよ。よかったな。私は頭がどうにかなっちまいそうだぜ。ここは食堂だぜ。私は毎日ここで食事をして、学校のことをぼやいたり、宿題のことをぼやいたり、親父に学校の成績の話をされたり、そういう。お嬢様。そうかよ。よかったな。私は頭がどうにかなっちまいそうだぜ。ここは食堂だぜ。私は毎日ここで食事をして、学校のことをぼやいたり、宿題のことをぼやいたり、親父に学校の成績の話をされたり、そういうところなんだぜ。これ以上ここにいるのはよくありません。客間へ戻りましょう。
俺も同感さ。秀吉おじさん、この部屋は多分警察にとって重要な意味があると思います。俺たちが踏み荒らしちまうのはまずいんじゃないですか。
Ambassador proposed this in a slightly powerful voice as, together with Cannon, he grabbed the pail and shaking Jessica's shoulder.
バトラさんの言う通りですな。この部屋にこれ以上好んで居続けることはありますまい。
Everything that comes out of your mouth, Nanjo, is a lie. Hideyoshi as well. I'm already getting the feel for the things right now. Nanjo spoke while looking at the pale faces all around. Even though that horrible scene in the storehouse had felt like something not of this world, at least it was a place far from here. A place where we had been able to cut ourselves off and run away from, which had helped everyone to keep on going. However, this dining hall was different. It was in the mansion's main wing, and as Jessica had said, it was supposed to be one of the more relaxing places within the mansion. It was the same place where all of the relatives had enjoyed lunch and dinner yesterday. The shock of seeing this place smeared with blood reminded us that horrible spectacle in the storehouse and forced us to accept that we really hadn't been able to run away from the scene of this tragedy.
わしも同感や。この部屋には犯人の痕跡が残ってるかもわからんしな。素人のわしらがかき回すべきとちゃうで。はよ出るんや。はよはよ。
Hideyoshi, I'm on to you. Hideyoshi also understood the meaning of what Battler had said and pushed everyone to hurry out of the dining hall. The way they were then, looking at the blood was any longer, would have been too harsh. Nobody went against his words. Everyone raced each other out of the dining hall, almost as though the last person in the room would be trapped in there, all alone. Once in the hallway, we lent a shoulder to Kamasaw, who was leaning against the wall, still trembling, and we all headed back to the parlor together. Then Genji returned.
お、源氏さん。警察に連絡はつきましたか?
Of course not. Of course not. It's going to be a typhoon. Everything is going to be locked up. There's no fucking way.
それが申し訳ございません。
They're going to spend a week here with people dying off.
無線機の故障か、それ以外の理由によるものかわかりませんが。
It was sabotage. Of course it was.
なんや、警察に連絡がつかんのか。電話も無線もどっちもダメなんか。
申し訳ございません。
It was sabotage in both of them.
月曜の朝に船が来ることになっていますので、その船の通信機を借りることができると思います。
この島には船はないんか。新島の警察署までちょっくら行ってくることはできんのか。
No.
秀吉さん、この天気では無理だ。
Yeah. See? We're locked up.
少なくとも台風が通り過ぎるまではどうにもなりません。
Battler has to find the culprit. Because the culprit will keep killing people.
クラウス様のボートは今修理中で島にございません。ですので月曜の船を待つほかないかと。
Now the fucking storm is going to last way past that. I'm thinking 4 to 5 days.
そんなアホな話があるか。
With the culprit killing people and increasingly the number getting smaller.
6人も死んだんやで。そして電話も無線も通じず船もない。
Or maybe 10 days because there are like 10 twilight things on the Epitaph.
台風が過ぎて船が来るまで、つまり明日の朝までわしらは警察にも連絡できず、この島におれっちゅうことなんか。
ってことはつまり、
Oh, the thunder.
俺たちだけじゃなく、おじさんたちを殺した犯人もこの島から出られず足止めってことだな。
そういうことになるね。
Now the wind.
みんなを殺した犯人はまだこの島にいる。
親父たちを殺した奴はこの島から逃げ出せずまだ潜んでやがるってことか
And
よ。
he's one of us.
くそ
He or she.
くそくそくそ。
But I think it's a group of accomplices because killing 6 people is not easy, much less transporting them. And I don't think that all the 6 are dead.
見つけ出してやるぜ。警察になんか引き渡すもんか。私がこの手でやっ先にしてやる。く
Maria had finally realized that something was odd about the parlor. Or rather than noticing something odd, it was probably better to say that she felt unhappy and neglected, that everyone else is getting so excited about something only she didn't know about. It's time to break the news. What the fuck? Oh, does she know already? I guess. She could be an accomplice, or at least an unwilling, manipulated one. The way she spoke was completely calm. Just as though she was talking about the characters in a TV drama, as though it didn't affect her at all. Jessica probably didn't like that. Oh, she's going to... As though trying to say, can't you tell just by looking at me? Overwhelmed with grief, she flared up against Maria. Oh, don't yell at Maria, please.
死んじまったぜみんな私の親父もパトラの父さんと母さんも
I think that only your father and Goda and Shannon were killed. I think the others are still alive.
コーダさんもシャノンもそしてマリアの母さんも
Fuck, you didn't have to say it like that.
よすんだジェシカちゃん。悲しいのは君だけじゃない。
マリアさん、ショックだろうが聞いてください。あなたのお母さんがな、死んでしまいました。
Can't you just make it? Nah, there's no one with tact here. There's no one with tact. What the fuck? Yeah, she will never see you again if she's dead, I guess.
ああ、誰かに殺されちまった。
Yeah, this is the tone I was looking for.
悲しいだろうがよ。心をしっかり。
This wasn't the tone I was looking for. Fuck me, dude.
死んじゃった
Fuck me, Maria knows. Maria knows something.
6人だぜ6人だ
Right in the alley of the Epitaph.
くそあんな残酷なことしやがって踊ってもんがあるだろうがよ人間ならよ
Oh my god, voice actor.
誰だか知らねえが犯人は人間じゃねえぜ血の色が赤いわけがねえ
Oh, their blood definitely is red. Shit. Don't get creepy now. Don't get creepy. Don't get possessed, okay?
犯人は人間じゃない鍵が選んだ生贄なだけ
I listened to the Japanese part. Just the 6 chosen by the key. 6 sacrifices chosen by the key. I guess that's what she's talking about. She's talking about the epitaph.
おい、マリア、今、なんて言った？
I know a bit of Japanese, at least not writing, but speeches. I know a lot, I guess. Maria had just said something, but since the words were so remotely separated from the flow of the context of this conversation, for a second I couldn't understand them. As I was about to ask her to repeat it, I was shocked by the sudden sound of Natsuhi's loud voice coming from the entrance to the parlor. Oh, is Kinzo dead? Like Aunt Natsuhi and Auntie Eva returned from that trip to see grandfather.
無線でも連絡できない？
God, the clock.
こんな時に使えなくて何のための防災無線ですか？
申し訳ございません。毎年保守点検はさせているはずなのですが。
ほら、光をチカチカさせるみたいな船舶信号ってあるじゃない？そういうので向こうの島に連絡することはできないのかしら？
そのような設備はございません。申し訳ございません。
Just then, Kamasaw can push a serving cart loaded with breakfast. Since there was no way we would be able to eat in the dining hall, Hideyoshi had ordered her to bring it to the parlor.
なぜ朝食をこちらに？
ああ、夏日さん、それは後で話す。それよりエヴァ、お父さんはどうなんや？
ご一緒でないところを見ると、このような事態になっても部屋から出ませんか。
But Natsuhi has the key.
いないわ。
Yeah, shit. I thought he would be dead, but he's missing. Oh, didn't I theorize last chapter that someone was impersonating Kinzo this morning? Oh shit, I think it could be Rudolph doing that.
部屋は空っぽだったのよ。
なんやて？
Oh my god, the music again.
こんな時にどこ行ったんや？
親方様が書斎を出られたというのですか？
そうです。私も驚いています。いつの間に部屋を出たのやら。あなたたちに心当たりはないのですか？
Natsuhi looked at Genji and Kennen as she said this. She probably thought the servants permitted the one-winged eagle, who served directly under him, would know of a place he might go. However, it seems to be the other way around. Their faces made it clear that those who knew Kinzo best realized even more than everyone else how impossible it was for him to leave his room.
僕たちにも見当がつきません。
ご存知の通り、親方様はあの書斎の中に、お休みの場所からご不浄まで、親方様があの部屋をお出になることなど、よっぽどのことがない限り、考えられません。
Because he's already dead and he was one of the corpses there. That's what I think.
となると、なんや？
Maybe Goda or maybe Rudolph.
そのよっぽどのことがあったって考えるのが自然だっちゅうことになるんか。
Then that theory gets fucked up once you realize Battler was crying over the corpse of his own grandfather. Fuck.
まだそうと決まったわけではありません。
Father. That could be it. Maybe Rudolph is still running around.
とにかく気まぐれな方ですから。現状をご存知なく、お一人で散歩をされている可能性もあります。
If we think of the people that could have done the murder, Goda, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, Kinzo, capable of carrying the corpses.
仮にそうだとしたら、一刻も早く現状をお知らせして、ご指示を仰がねばなりません。
Because George and Battler were in the guest house. Ken and Genji were in the guest house, but they could have left. Kamasaw was there too, but maybe Kamasaw, Genji, and Ken and... Man, there's so much to theorize about here.
そうね。考えたくはないけど。お父様の身に何かあったのかもしれないしね。
そのような不吉なことは考えたくもありません。
No one had seen Kinzo since the 6 horrible corpses had been found. On top of that, the phones were broken, the radio wouldn't reach anyone, and there was no way to contact the police. It looked like the typhoon would leave tomorrow and a boat would come. But until then, no one could rely on anyone outside the island, nor they could escape the island. Everyone had lost their composure at the extremely sudden tragedy. A heavy silence and a sense of impatience. Even though they needed to do something, they couldn't think of anything. Some of them became irritated, while others merely held their heads in their hands. But not one of them could explain what was occurring on the island of Rokinjima. After that, we sat in the parlor and wordlessly chewed through the breakfast that Kamasaw-san had made. Of course, this was right after something like that had happened. No one had any appetite. However, we realized that not eating would weaken our bodies. It would also be rude to Kamasaw-san, who had made the breakfast. Kamasaw-san had taken the tasteful western vegetables, one that Goda-san had probably special ordered for the purpose of some extravagant fancy dish, and cooked them in a Japanese style, making them turn an unpleasant color. As to what Goda-san had been planning to cook with those ingredients, right then I couldn't even imagine. If I did think about it, I would be reminded of the way Goda-san had died, and the inside of my mouth would have been filled with a sour taste. For the time being, everyone pretended to eat, but there was no hope of anyone making any headway into the meal. Then everyone was brought up to speed on the current situation. First off, the Uncle Cross, my dad, Kiri's-san, Auntie Rosa, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan had been found in the Rose Garden storehouse as cruelly mutilated corpses. And that despite that, we were unable to use phones or radio and still couldn't contact the police. So until the typhoon passed, there was nothing we could do. Furthermore, grandfather, who we had hoped might be able to show a little leadership in this kind of situation, had disappeared at some point. Goda-san hadn't made breakfast, so grandfather's stomach must have been empty. And if he had just been taking a casual walk, by now he should have been stomping back to whine about how hungry he was. And yet he hadn't appeared. There was more than a small chance that he had become caught up in the earlier crime. Our Natsuhi and Auntie Eva had said that on their return trip from going to see Kinzo, they had called out to him on every floor, looking for him, but were not able to find him. If you think about the timing of it all, it was probably best to think that he had been caught up in the crime. The culprit had taken the turbo to move the bodies of Dad and the rest, who we figure had been killed in the dining hall, all the way to the storehouse, and maybe they had already killed grandfather, moved his body to some strange location, and we had simply not found it yet. No one actually said it, but this theory seemed extremely convincing.
私たちはお屋敷の戸締まりを確認してきます。お父様も念入りに探さなければなりません。子供たちはこの部屋を出ないように。エヴァさんと秀吉さんは申し訳ありませんが、ここで子供たちと一緒にいてください。南條先生も。
わかりました。ここでお待ちしています。
Natsuhi led the servants, Genji-san, Kamasaw-san, and Kennen-kun, out of the parlor. All that was left was Auntie Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi, Dr. Nanjo, and the 4 of those children, for a total of 7 people.
みんなで仲良くテレビでも見て待ってよな。しかし日曜日の午前中はろくな番組やっとらへんな。
Uncle Hideyoshi tried to stir up his gloomy atmosphere, acting cheerfully.
ろくな番組見る。
お、そうか。マリアちゃんはテレビ見るか。じゃ、おじさんと一緒に見ような。
Maria was the only one who played along. Even though Maria had been told of her mother's death, she didn't show the slightest flicker in her emotions. shit. Was 9 really this young an age? No one else was feeling the slightest bit like joining in, and they each sank into their sofas and tried and let their minds go blank.
兄貴、聞いていいか？
なんだい？
さっき倉庫で兄貴はシャノンちゃんの指輪の話をしたよな。あれ送ったのは兄貴か？
George Aniki didn't answer. He hung his head and closed both his eyes. There could be no clearer response.
よせよパトラ、少しは察しろよ。
だな、悪いことを聞いたぜ。
そうさ、僕だよ。彼女に昨べ求婚したんだ。その時指輪を渡した。明日になったらそれを好きな指にはめて返事としてくれって気ざったらしいことを言ってね。
And that ring had been on the ring finger of Shannon Chen's left hand.
私さ、数年前からシャドウに相談を受けてたぜ。ジョージ兄さんのことでさ。
なんて言ってたのかな。
シャノンは嘘をつくのが下手だったからよ。ジョージ兄さんのことを言ってるのはすぐにバレバレでさ。自分は使用人の身分だけど親しくしてもいいのだろうかとか、男の人の好きそうなものは何かとか、どういう服を着たら喜ぶかとか、そんなことをいろいろとさ。なんつうのか、まあ焼けたぜ。
それが婚約指輪を渡されて、そこでおしまいかよ。
価値観は人それぞれだけどよ、男から求婚されるってのはある意味人生の到達点なんだと思うんだよ。だからきっと昨夜のシャノンは心の底から、いや生まれてから今までの中で一番幸せだったと思うぜ。
George Aniki, without raising his head, sighed deeply. Or maybe tears had risen to his eyes.
シャノンは昨べゲストハウスの当番だったらしいんだ。でもシャノンは僕と一緒にゲストハウスに帰るのを恥ずかしがって、
Oh shit.
お屋敷に行ってしまった。
シャノンの気持ちを察しろよ。婚約指輪をもらえばどんなに予告されてたって普通は舞い上がっちまって頭は真っ白になっちまうぜ。気恥ずかしくて仕方なかったんだろうよ。
それでシャノンは当番でないはずのお屋敷へ行き、事件に巻き込まれてしまった。僕があの日あの場所で指輪なんか渡さなければ、シャノンはサヨは事件に巻き込まれなかったんだ。
兄貴、それだけは違うぜ。断じて違う。だからそれ以上泣くんじゃね
え。Okay, I'm feeling a little bit bad for George.
そっとしてあげなさい。
After those words from Auntie Ava, I stopped talking to him. Misplaced words of comfort might actually hurt him. Jessica sat down next to Aniki, who quietly put an arm around him. Maybe only Jessica, who had known about Aniki and Shannon's love since the beginning, and who had been discussing that relationship with Shannon, could comfort Aniki right now. I went over to Auntie Ava and sat down on the opposite sofa.
バトラ君は強いわね。もうだいぶしっかりしているように見えるわよ。
まあほら、愛の深さが傷の深さじゃないっすか。俺は別にあんなクソ親父同志の方が知ったことじゃないし、キリエさんは気の毒ですが、まあ本当の親ってわけじゃないですしね。
あら、という割にはさっきすっごく大泣きしてたわよ。
まあ育ての親に対する恩はあのくらい泣けば OK かと思いまして。
そのあたりの切り替えの速さやドライなあたりは本当にルドルフ譲りね。あの子は昔から激しく喜んだり悲しんだり怒ったりしたけれど、すぐにケロリと平静を取り戻したわ。
そんなことはないっすよ。俺だってまだまだ心のショックから立ち直れちゃいません。ただ俺がみんなと違うのは、それによってどういう感情が生み出されるかってことだと思います。
Oh,
どういうこと？
I was acting much calmer than that Georgia, Nikki, and Jessica were. Oh, the music, the music. Don't. That wasn't because my sadness was less intense and I already sprung back to normal. It was because my sadness had been gradually replaced by a different emotion. Yes! Hatred, anger, the desire to kill the culprit. Yes! Search your feelings, battler. Rise to the occasion. Be the main character you wish to be. Grab the culprit by their neck. Come on. They killed your father and your stepmom.
悲しいっていうよりは腹立たしいって気持ちなんすよ。
Yes, yes.
どこのドイツがこんなことをしやがったのか。
Yes, that's it, that's it.
横っ面に一発お見舞いしてやらないことには腹の虫が収まらねえんです。
Come on, battler, you can do it. That was what I really wanted to do. It's like I couldn't allow myself just to sit back here, overwhelmed with sadness and hugging my knees.
親父たちが殺されて以降、この島は台風に包まれたままです。つまりこれだけの上等を決めてくれやがった野郎はまだこの島の中にいるってことです。
そういうことになるわね。
I think she is sitting right in front of you, one of the culprits.
今も
Come on, grab
暗
her
い
by the
森の
neck.
どこかに身を潜めているのかしら。
Come on, grab her by the neck right now. She's saying stupid shit. They're not in the forest, they're here, right in the mansion. Either that or in the guest house. I'd feel like I'd had a very similar conversation with Kyrie's son the last night before. That's right. The letters from the person who claimed to be Beatrice appeared at the dinner table last night. We had talked about whether or not a 19th person actually exists, and it doesn't. The culprit is one of the people here.
この殺人、昨夜のベアトリーチェの手紙と何か関連があるんでしょうか、ね。
Of course, yes. I think.
ああ、例の
Yes. Oh, fuck you, Eva.
さあ、どうかしらね。
Oh, look, she's looking all suspicious. Battler, can you grab her by the neck already? Come on, Battler. Grab her.
あの手紙はお父様が遺産問題に絡みたくて出した怪文書という見方で兄弟は一致したんだけれども、
Man, it's so glaringly obvious that Ava's involved.
それと今朝の事件に関係があるかは今の段階では分かりかねるわね。
あの手紙、本当にベアトリーチェなんて魔女がマリアに渡したんすかね。
No. It was delivered by a person already here.
まさか全部お父様の仕組んだ茶番でしょ。
I think that Kinzo also delivered the letter, or one of his servants, or Rosa, or Natsuhi. But the culprit wasn't the one to do it. The culprits got irritated by the letter instead and killed everyone.
シャノンちゃんあたりに肖像画のドレスを着させてマリアちゃんを騙したんでしょ。
Basically, Kinzo used Maria to challenge the culprits, and the culprits really got irritated and killed every single one of them. Killed Kinzo, dressed as him, and said pretty words towards Natsuhi.
お父様らしい手の込みすぎたいたずらだと思うけど。
いや、キリエさんとベアトリーチェは実在するんだろうかって話をしたんですけど、
Beatrice.
キリエさんも俺たち18人の中にベアトリーチェがいるだろうと言ってましたね。
そんなの当然じゃない。この島には私たちしかいないのよ。なら私たちの中の誰かがベアトリーチェを語ったに決まってるじゃない。
And one of you, or several of you, are the culprits.
この島には俺たち以外はいないですか。
当然でしょ。私たち以外の誰がここにいるっていうの？この島には私たちしかいない。18人しかいない。ならベアトリーチェを語るのも18人の中の誰かしかいないじゃない。
Can I just praise Ava's voice actress? She's the same voice actress from Higurashi Takano. Kiryu-san had denied that there was a 19th person by flipping over the chessboard, even though Auntie Ava hadn't constructed an argument that complicated. Her opinion at least was the same. Except if that is the case, our situation starts to look very ugly. At the time of Beatrice's letter, we were able to dismiss the matter as just someone's prank. However, if we deny the existence of a 19th person at this point, matters are not so jovial. In other words, someone murdered your parents, and someone is here, and someone is not a 19th person.
19人目がいないなら親父たちを殺した犯人も18人の中にいるってことになっちまうじゃないですか。つまり今この屋敷にいる誰かが殺したってことになる。
And one of the culprits is standing right in front of you, Battler. Auntie Ava smiled meaningfully. I don't think that this is a murder that could be committed by one single person. Ava, Rudolph, Rosa are in it. They're still alive. Kyrie as well. It looked like Auntie thought that this conclusion should have been obvious from the very beginning.
犯人は倉庫の中に6人の遺体を運び込んだわ。でもよく倉庫の中に運び込めたわよね。あのシャッターは常に閉められていて施錠されていたそうよ。
They killed Goda and got the key.
つまり倉庫内に運び込むにはシャッターの施錠を開ける必要があった。わかる？
たまたまその日シャッターが開けっぱなしになってた可能性は？
No, this is a mystery. Of course, the key is going to be in the servant's room where Goda was.
使用人たちは常に閉めていると言ってたわ。つまり鍵を使用人室から持ち出さなくては倉庫は絶対に開けられない。
鍵は使用人室の一つしかないんすかね。
It's a rule in mystery that accidents do not happen.
源氏さんはそうだと言ってるわ。ということは犯人はそのたった一つの倉庫の鍵の在りかを知っていて持ち出した。
The more inconvenient the situation is for the murder, the better the mystery. When the murder is carried out successfully. So basically, the more obstacles for the culprit to have as they murder someone, the better the story is.
さっきカノン君が使用人室に鍵を戻すところを見たわ。
It's basically like an inverse underdog story. The culprit needs to have all these obstacles in front of them, and they still commit a murder that is so elusive that detective spends an entire novel trying to solve, and the more obstacles, the more things are certain, the more that luck isn't involved in a story, the better the mystery.
壁にびっしりと鍵がかけられていて、とても素人にはどこに何がかけてあるのかわからなかった。
They could have tortured Goda for the key.
犯人はその中から倉庫の鍵を見事選び出したんだ。
Or maybe they scouted in the past few years.
しかも札も何もついていない鍵を手にして、バラ庭園裏にある倉庫の鍵だと理解した。ついでに言うと、倉庫の場所すら理解していた。
Eva is trying to push the idea that the servants were the culprits.
もっとはっきり断言するわ。犯人は使用人室の内部にも熟知している。
Their argument was extremely plain and clear. The bodies had been thrown somewhere in the bushes of the rose garden. No explanation would have been necessary. However, the only key to the storehouse was in the servants' room, and stored with a large group of other keys, such that a novice would not be able to tell them apart. This meant that the culprit was someone who was used to going in and out of the servant room, and knew where the key was. My family didn't normally go into the servant room, which meant that either the culprit had a servant as an accomplice, or a servant was the culprit. But I don't think a servant was the culprit, because then the story gets a little bit weird. I think it was one of the siblings, or maybe a group of siblings doing the thing.
ってことは使用人の誰かが犯人。
悪いけどそれ以上はおばさんも言えないわよ。でも一つだけ教えられることがあるわ。
なんすか？
犯人たちは複数で、そして十分な武装をしていたと考えられるわ。だってそうでしょ。食堂にいた兄さんたち4人を一度に襲って殺し、合計6人分の遺体をようようとバラ庭園の向こうの倉庫まで運んで、悪趣味な化粧と落書きを施している。これだけのことを単独犯で行えるはずもないでしょう。
Since Eva is doing this theory that there are multiple culprits right off the bat, I'm throwing that theory out right now. It's in shambles. If someone states a theory this early in the game, then it's probably wrong. So it was only one person killing everyone. It was impossible. Might not have been if a single person spent enough time on it, but that would have taken ages. It was probably best to think that a significant number of people had been part of it. That makes me think.
ってことはエヴァおばさんは使用人の人たちがみんなグルだろうって言ってんすか？
静かになさいな。憶測で言っちゃ悪いわよ。それにもし本当にそうだったらどうするつもり？彼らは私たちを生かして返さないでしょうね。しかも兄さんたち4人をやすやすと殺した相手なのよ。今この部屋に残っていてまともに戦えそうな人間はうちの家族の3人にせいぜいバトラ君で4人ってところ。状況は昨晩と何も変わらない。つまり犯人にとって残る私たちを皆殺しにするなんて簡単なことなのよ。
If she's saying that the culprit had no problem in killing the other four, maybe that means that the culprit killed the other four by other means. There's the blood pool in the dining hall, but maybe the culprit used poison instead to kill them. Because she's saying that, there's multiple culprits and they had no trouble killing all of them. But if we say the contrary of that and say that's only one culprit, then maybe he or she used poison instead to kill. That would make much more. That would be a much more. I don't know. Right now I'm going on the theory that there is only one culprit because Ava had already surmised that there were multiple. So maybe because the blood pool tells me there was conflict inside the dining hall. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe they all died of poison. And the culprits dragged their bodies to the storehouse using a servant's cart or maybe something else, and then drew blood of them and put it on the dining hall afterwards. I had been playing detective with Auntie Ava out of a desire to expose the person who killed Dad and the rest before the police did. If I could manage to skillfully penetrate the culprit's identity, I wanted to stick the evidence in their face. I had got into my head that if I did that, the culprit would give up and surrender. Just like in one of the detective movies. No. You are alone in an island. It's best to just fucking manhandle the culprit and maybe kill the culprit. However, the culprit only surrenders there because they are in a situation where resistance will be futile. The culprits behind these incidents on the island were far from helpless, and might even be able to massacre all of the remaining people on the island. And on top of that, this island was like a giant locked room, cut off from the outside world by the typhoon. They had a full day until tomorrow to kill, scheme, and cover up their handiwork. In short, we weren't the kind of safe atmosphere where we could entertain ourselves by playing detective. Though this is the perfect atmosphere. Come on, Battler. On the contrary, we were at a stage where we had to be scared stiff. Since playing detective might displease the culprits and cause them to repeat another mass murder.
あくまでも可能性の問題よ。でも私は使用人の人たちをまだ信用できないわね。それに私は使用人だけを疑ってるわけじゃないわ。さらに黒幕がいるかもしれないと思ってるわよ。
黒幕？どうしてですか？
勘よ。使用人は書いて字のごとし、誰かに使用されて手足となる存在よ。殺されたのは後宮家の親族ばかりなら、その結果で利害が発生する人間が関わるのは当然。
This was also plain and clear. The Ushirmiya family were currently right in the middle of discussing how to distribute the inheritance if grandfather died. If this followed the formulaic plot used to death by many classic mystery novels, it would definitely be a crime by someone with ties to the Ushirmiya family and who was entangled in the inheritance problem. Auntie had probably also read a few books in that genre. The theory did have a few one-sided conclusions to it. It was a run-of-the-mill idea that anyone would surely hit upon. I think that anyone would have suspected the servants, even if their logic was different. Especially the talk revolving around the key to the shutter. That was enough to make it easy to suspect that strongly that one of the servants was involved in that case. Yeah, they're hammering that the servants were involved. So right now I'm throwing my theory out. The servants are not involved with the murders. It was all the family.
なぜか気に入らねえんすよね。
気に入らないって？
あ、いえいえ、こっちの話っす。
I dodged the question by joking, but I couldn't wipe a sense of unease I felt inside me. Because the reasoning we had arrived at was altogether too simple. Reasoning that anyone could arrive at. And I just couldn't accept that. If I tried flipping over the chessboard, like I had learned from Kyrie's son, that was exactly why it was impossible for the servants to be the culprits. If the servants had been the culprits, they wouldn't have hidden the bodies in a place that was tied to themselves. Certainly not the Rose Garden storehouse of all places, whose key they could themselves controlled. The police would immediately pursue whoever had been in control of the key. That would create a danger for exposure. If we were to assume they were the culprits, they had no other reason to carry the body. They had no reason to carry the bodies to the storehouse. They expect us to think that, and so put them in the storehouse deliberately. No, that definitely didn't make sense. The police doesn't matter. Right now, I'm saying it. The police does not matter. In this case, the culprit is thinking of killing everybody, according to the Epitaph. Or at least fake killing everybody. Maybe some of them will live. The accomplices and the mastermind are going to live. When the police come and inspect the site, all kinds of things will probably become clear. No matter how deeply careful the culprits were in carrying out the murder, some kind of traces will definitely be found. The police doesn't matter in the situation. It's not a time clock, it's nothing. So, in summary, they had everything to lose and nothing to gain. No, right now it's the contrary. Flip the chessboard and what you get. The survivors have everything to lose and nothing to gain by not finding the culprits. And if you flip the chessboard again, you could say that the culprit is trying their hardest so that they are recognized as the Beatrice of the epitaph of the portrait. And if you flip the chessboard again, it's because they don't want the gold to be found by anybody. If you think about it this way and look at the game from the culprit side, feels like there's no point in advertising the location of the corpses. The bodies were found and a report will be sent to the police. The remaining people will become more cautious. They could start looking for who was responsible. Anyway, none of these things will make the culprits feel any more comfortable. If you flip the chessboard, then that means that you are in trouble. They put there, advertise the body's location, and are following the footsteps of the epitaph. You guys are in trouble. The culprit isn't going to stop here. And the police, just like in the words of the main character's mother in a novel I read recently called Higurashi no Nakokoro ni. Hey! A mystery story has 4 parts: introduction, development, turn, and conclusion. And so, to commit a perfect crime, it's essential to eliminate the introduction. Right now, the culprit wants to kill the conclusion. Completely eliminate the conclusion. That's what they want, and that's why it's dangerous, Battler. Right now, no one knew where grandfather was. We didn't know whether he had become a victim or if he was one of the culprits. But this state of confusion had to be beneficial to whoever did this. By blatantly advertising the bodies to us, and declaring, hey, there's a murder case going on. The culprit had absolutely nothing to gain. No. Flip the chessboard. Come on. Right. That was where we could flip over the chessboard. Yeah, finally. So this blatant advertisement of the bodies itself was to the culprit's advantage, not the goal. The goal is to kill everybody. Come on, Battler, realize this. The goal is to kill everybody and blame on the witches. And blame on a witch, basically. Blame on Beatrice. That's the culprit's goal. This was to the culprit's advantage, not the goal itself. Okay? Understand? Capiche? So it may be well that to the culprit, having the 6 corpses be present there meant more than the deaths themselves. Now you're getting it. In other words, the culprit also wanted to display these murders. I'm loving this so much, man. It's like I'm discussing things with Battler right now, and it feels so great. To who? To us. Was the message. I fucking love this so much! The culprit was trying to shove something in our faces. I didn't know what that could be. At the current time, none of us could grasp anything from this vulgar mass murder except malice. Malice towards everyone, perhaps. Yes, come on. The culprit wants to kill everyone. You still haven't linked the deaths to the Epitaph yet, Battler. Come on, you can do it. The wind. Each one of the survivors had some kind of connection to one of the 6 who had already been killed. Uncle Cross's death brought sorrow to Jessica's family. The deaths of Dad and Kirisa brought sorrows to me, while Auntie Rosa's death brought sorrow to Maria. I guess not much, because Maria is acting like nothing happened. Goda-san's death probably dealt a shock to his fellow servants. And Shannon-chan's death brought grief to George Aniki, who had proposed to her, and to Kanan-kun, who had loved her like an older sister. Everyone now on this island had received an equal amount of sadness. Auntie Eva had claimed that the servants were definitely in cahoots. But then, how could you explain the deaths of Goda-san and Shannon-chan? And how could you explain the fact that Eva didn't lose anyone close to her? Hideyoshi's still alive, and both went to bed earlier on. Something feels weird. And by this argument, the grief caused by the 6 deaths hit everyone but Auntie Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi. It was very possible to doubt Auntie Eva herself, who was acting like she was outside of the net of suspicion, and who might have been trying to point out the suspicion at the servants. In the first place, she had managed to avoid suspicion and place it on the servants with that argument about the key to the shutter. But if you looked at it from a perspective of motive, about who would gain something from the murders, Auntie Eva's name floated to the top of the list. Yes, finally, Battler, you're getting it.
Battler 君が何を考えてるか、おばさんわかるわよ。
Okay, grab her neck and twist it. Okay, right now, go. Before she kills you.
やだな。内緒にしててくださいよ。あんなことやこんなことで頭をいっぱいにしてたなんて。
私がこの殺人で一番得をする。どうせ疑われるだろうから、先に自己申告しておくわ。
One of the siblings could still be alive. Since Battler is suspecting Eva, I don't think she's the culprit anymore. I'm throwing that theory out. Rudolph is still alive and is impersonating Kinzo from this morning. Or Goda, who knows where the where the key is, could still be alive. But that doesn't make any much sense, since Goda doesn't have a good motive to kill everybody. Maybe he found the gold, but He came in 2 years ago. The epitaph was 2 years ago. The portrait was 2 years ago. Could Goda be the culprit? I don't want him to be the culprit. I had tried to dodge this conversation by joking around, but it looked like it hadn't worked.
遺産は兄弟の数で分割する。でも今や4兄弟は私一人。後宮家の全財産は全て私のものになるの。
Oh, she's happy about it.
秀吉おじさんが聞いたら予算か言えばシャレにならんっていうところっすね。
ごめんね。どう取り繕ったってどうせ疑われるだろうからふざけただけよ。だからこの殺人は私の立場から見れば私を疑わせるためのものではないかと思ってるの。
Maybe one of the siblings that were dead are still alive and are casting the blame onto Ava.
困ったことに、昨べのアリバイは弱いわ。
Because only your husband knows where you were. And your husband might be in on it. As you...
聞かせてもらってもいいですか？昨べのことを。
バトラ君たちも知っている通り、兄弟が遺産をどう食いちぎり合うかという話し合いは深夜まで続いたわ。
The strange thing about all this is that Ava left. For some fucking reason she left. That doesn't make any fucking sense. She's one of the most invested people in this fucking inheritance problem.
でも何時まで続いたかは知らない。
She would stay until the end. She would be the one driving it further, not Rudolph.
私と主人は朝が早かったからね。もう眠くて24時を過ぎたあたりで抜けさせてもらったの。そしてゲストハウスに戻って休んだわ。
それを秀吉おじさん以外の誰かに証明できるっすか？
No.
いやいや、別にエヴァおばさんを疑ってるわけじゃないっすよ。
Just grab her by the neck. There's something weird. I still can't get over that she left. That's gonna be a fucking lie. She didn't leave. Fucking no.
あら、
Fuck no.
どうだか証明になるかわからないけれど、ゲストハウスに戻ってきた時、源氏さんに出迎えを受けてタオルはいるかと聞かれたわ。だから私たちがゲストハウスに戻ってきた時間は24時過ぎだと証明してくれると思うわよ。
But the murder happened at midnight, according to Nanjo, right? Am I tripping? Am I going crazy, or the murder happened at exactly midnight? So both Hideyoshi and Ava's story are fucking false. And Genji might be on it. Shit. So Genji... Could Genji be... But Canon... Remember when I said that Canon could be the one that could have delivered the letter? Genji was poisoning Kinzo. Nanjo could be an accomplice. Could Ava, Nanjo, Hideyoshi, Genji, and Canon be on the murder? But it doesn't make any sense because Shannon died. Maybe she was a collateral damage. So you need to prod Cannon. Cannon might die actually. If Cannon was involved and he saw Shannon dying and didn't. Maybe he saw Shannon die and was a little bit shook about it because he didn't really feel anything in that storage shed, not to the extent of the others. So maybe he knows about it, and maybe he's going to get killed because he's going to chat up. He's going to... Shit, man.
もっとも私の仮説通り使用人たちもグルなのだとしたらこんなのアリバイにならないけどね。
And if the two servants were in cahoots with you, then that alibi wouldn't stick as well.
確かにそうっすね。ってことは俺今真犯人と推理ごっこをしてるってことになるんすか？
Shit, Battler, just fucking grab her by the neck already, okay? just go, snap her neck, and be done with it.
でも私の名誉のために言わせてもらうけど、遺産目当てだったならこんな変な殺人はしないわよ。だって遺産相続権を喪失させるだけならどんな死に方だって構わない。むしろ事故死に見せかけた方がスマートでしょ。
Maybe Kinzo interfered and she had to go in a roundabout way. Or maybe one of the siblings are doing this to cast the blame on Ava. Ah man, this is so complicated. Situation so... I'm doubting Ava 1 second and I'm going back to the siblings in another second. It's quite hard. Could Rudolph still be running around with Kyrie and Rosa by his side? Maybe all the siblings are in on it except for Cross. Cross and Goda and Shannon were the Cross was the target. Shannon and Goda were the collateral damage. In which case, the culprit is still acting just like the Epitaph.
使用人たちを抱き込んで周到に計画していたならなおさらそうするでしょうよ。
確かにそうっすね。営利で人を殺すならそれは常に殺人に見せるべきではない。
そういうことよ。だからおばさんは今からとてもブルーな気持ちなわけ。警察には黒幕扱いされて散々調べられるでしょうね。やだやだ。
Auntie Eva shrugged with a bitter smile. The battler is saying that the culprit was motivated by his profit. Perhaps that wasn't the motivation, but to keep things hidden instead. Maybe it wasn't greed, but keeping things hidden. So they're going on the guise of Beatrice and killing just like the Epitaph. Maybe the motive isn't profit. I don't think. Maybe it's not. Just like it was easy to think the servants as suspicious, it was also very easy to think of Auntie Eva as suspicious. So if we flipped over the chessboard, that means it was actually impossible for the culprit to be as easily doubtable Auntie Eva. However, if the logic could pass so easily, then motive wouldn't count for anything. The motive you're thinking about may be wrong, Battler. No, that can't be right. Knowing the motive should be a big clue towards knowing the culprit. Yeah. This is why murderers throughout history had tried to ensure their motive would not be found out by skillfully complicating the incidents. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking about. I don't know. Every time I flip over the chessboard, it keeps flipping from front to back and back to front. I'm feeling the same way. Are my thoughts closing in on the truth? Or... yeah, I think the motive is something else. Maybe it's not profit, maybe it's to keep things hidden. Keep the gold hidden. Auntie Eva didn't want to talk about any more than that, so I headed to the window, holding my arms so I could cool my head off a little. As I looked over the parlor, I saw George and Nikki and the others gathered, talking. It looked like they were talking about the magic circle that had been painted onto the shutter. I don't think the magic circle is as important. It's actually a diversion tactic for the culprit. I already said the culprit wants to make people believe it's a Beatrice and they are entering. And this is the trap. So basically the symbol itself is the trap that the culprit put. As Uncle Hideyoshi thought back to that time, started drawing the shape of the margins of Maria's notebook. Yes, Maria is second only to grandfather in knowledge of the occult, so she might understand what it meant.
多分こんな感じだったと思うで。
So everyone knows that Maria knows about black magic. As I said before, Maria might be the accomplice, the unintended, or the accidental, or the manipulated accomplice to hiding things behind the illusion of Beatrice. So the culprit can act.
十字架をアレンジしたみたいなマークが書かれとったんや。
So the culprit is going to put these black magic things all over the place so Maria can create the urban legend or something else about it.
そしてこんな感じで外周の円を取り囲むように妙な文字がびっしり書き込まれていて、アルファベットとかそういうのとちゃうで。あれはよく言う古代文字とかいうやつや。
あと円周部の頂点に小さなマークがありましたな。
そしてこんな感じで外周の円を取り囲むように妙な文字がびっしり書き込まれていて、十字架の上下左右の辺とその四隅にも何か書かれていたんや。アルファベットとかそういうのとちゃうで。あれはよく言う古代文字とかいうやつや。
小さな丸を5つ十字状に並べ、それぞれを直線で結んだようなマークでした。
ああ、確かにそんなのも書いてあったで。うん。図形的には間違いなくこれや。細かい文字はわからんが、配列はほぼ同じや。
Everyone is staring down at the shape, so I stare down at it too. No, that's the trap of the culprit. That's the trap. From what I've heard, this had been painted on the shutter of the storehouse with some materials that look like blood. I see this sure is unsettling.
こんなわけのわかんねえもんを書きたがるのはじいさまだけだろ。
But flipping the chessboard, then if you flip the chessboard here, then it stands to know that someone that didn't know anything about it could have written it, just so that the blame could fall on grandfather or Beatrice.
まったく、どこに行っちまったんだ。
Kinzo, actually.
とっ捕まえて意味を聞き出してやりたいぜ。
I think that Kinzo is on the storehouse as one of the bodies. Jessica's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say that grandfather was the culprit, but it looked as though she thought the grandfather definitely knew the culprit's identity. Certainly, if you ask around for the link that bound the Ushurmiya family and the occult together, 10 out of 10 people will name grandfather. And to a person who knew nothing about the occult, this strange mark would have no meaning, which meant that this might have been something addressed to grandfather. That's right, the reason to advertise this crime was to show it off to the survivors. In that case, where had grandfather, as the essential recipient of this message, disappeared off to? But if you flip over the chessboard and say that that message was to be shown to Kinzo, instead, no, it was to be shown to those who didn't know anything about black magic. Instead.
こんな図形に何か心当たりはあるかい?
Yeah, Maria's going to go speak about it, I think. Say it was Beatrice or whatever, helping the culprit out. Maria looked at the shape with a serious face. Maybe she was enthusiastic, since this was her area of expertise. However, her appearance was that of someone separated from the events at hand, as though this thing hadn't been drawn on the shutter closed around her mother's corpse.
僕の第一印象ではどこか外国の十字章に似たデザインだなって思ったかな。
ああ、確かにこんなデザインや。ということはどこぞの国と何か関係があるんか？
その国の十字章はもともと聖地巡礼者を守るための騎士修道士たちの紋章だったそうですな。
Wasn't it established that Beatrice, the witcher, the girl on the portrait was a foreigner with her looks? Maybe because maybe the culprit is trying to do that. Yeah, I see it.
つまりこの魔法陣には宗教的な意味があるってことかよ。ますますにちんぷんかんぷんだぜ。
Yeah, the culprit is going to use Maria to spread out the knowledge that Beatrice was the culprit instead of the real culprit. When I looked over at all of them, preparing to jump into the discussion, something shocked me. Oh shit. What's going on? Fuck me, dude. Fucking shit. What the hell? Let me see this. Oh, this is so creepy. No. Maria was grinning, an eerie expression on her face that defied description. A sort of grin that she was making fun of everyone's ignorance. It was an expression that I wouldn't have believed Maria to be capable of making. And then she laughed. Oh my god, it's getting worse. Oh shit. An eerie, jarring laugh. Even though I was looking at it right in front of my eyes. I really didn't want to accept it as real. Fuck me. Fuck me, dude. Oh, that's so cursed. Fuck me, dude. I fucking thought it. Fucking knew it, you'll be the creepy character. Shit. Are you being possessed? Like you were? Oh, the same music.
全然違うよみんな。こんなの見てわかんないかな。
Her voice actress is amazing. While everyone was scared out of their wits, Maria alone kept on cackling happily. After a while, that laugh suddenly and abruptly cut off. Her expression was still like someone completely different from Maria.
これは太陽の7の魔法陣だよ。
Oh my god, look at how smug she is. Oh shit.
書かれてる文字はヘブライ語。貸して。
Fucking knew it. Fucking knew it. Maria stole the writing materials from the stunned Hideyoshi's hand. She then started drawing another magic circle, effortlessly, right next to the one that Hideyoshi had drawn.
で
Oh my god, this is so amazing. Oh shit, look at her face. She's so fucking smug. She's so evil as well.
こんな図形だったんじゃないかな。
そんな図形だった。
マリア、すごいな。さすが詳しいぜ。
Jessica tried to smooth things over by praising Maria. Maybe she wanted to make sure that this was still the Maria who everyone knew so well. It's not, no shit. But Maria didn't give her any particular response. Maria started fluently writing unfamiliar characters in the corner of the shape. At the sight, the eyes of Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo instantly began to widen.
天地と左右に書かれているのは風化水道を司る天使たちの名。
I know fire, water. I know that fire is fire was Gabriel. Water is no. Fire is Michael. Water is Gabriel. Earth is Raphael, I guess. I don't know. Air is something else, I don't know. No, fire, I know fire and water. Earth, I'm kind of iffy. I don't know. Yeah, fire is Michael, water is Gabriel.
カサン、アレル、タリアハド、そしてフォルラ。
Fuck me! No, I'm fucking wrong. Oh shit.
そして斜め四方には4代の統治者たちの名。アリエル、セラフ、タルシス、ケルブ。合ってる？
I think this is another completely different religion, I'm sorry. Even if you are unable to correctly write that what you have seen, if you are once again shown something identical, it isn't difficult to state the two are the same. Asked my Maria whether they matched. Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo nodded over and over again.
間違いない。そうや。確かにこんな文字が書かれとった。なんでこんなん書けるんや。
I thought I was so knowledgeable, then I was destroyed by facts and logic by Maria.
あと演習部にも文字が書かれておりましたな。
わかってるよ。
Oh my gosh, she's so smug.
こうでしょ。
Oh my god, I love it. Maria began jotting down Hebrew all over the circumference.
旧約聖書の詩編第116編の16節と17節だよ。
She's so smug, I love
聖書
it.
くらい読んでなきゃ。
Acting as though knowing this was only common sense, Maria laughed. For a while, everyone, including me, was at a loss for words. As after some moments, George Niki returned to his senses and slowly managed to speak.
すごいね。驚いたよ。それでこの魔法陣にはどんな意味があるんだい？
No meaning.
太陽の力を借りる魔法陣だよ。黄金で描き、護符にして身につけたる者はいかなる牢獄であろうとも、束縛から逃れ、自由を得られる力を授けられる。
I'm sorry, did I say no meaning? This is a direct message from the culprit.
束縛から逃れ、自由を得られる。
Oh shit.
意味深だぜ。
この束縛という意味は何も肉体的なものだけを指さないと解釈されている。だから縛られて牢屋にいる人ばかりに意味があるわけじゃないよ。しがらみや逃れ得ぬ運命など精神的な束縛からの解放も意味してるんだよ。
So that's the motive for the culprit.
しがらみや逃れ得ぬ運命か。
To break free, that was the culprit's motive. Shit.
これまた意味
You're
深だ。
fucked. Battler, you're completely and utterly fucked right now.
しかしさっぱりわからん。 それとあの6人の遺体とどんな関係があるっちゅうんや。
That means to get free, the culprit needs to kill everyone. That's what it's saying. That's a fucking motive, man. Come on, guess it. If we go by this motive, then it was one of the servants who killed. Could have been Canon. Canon and Genji. But that doesn't make sense because Hideyoshi and Eva returned. If their alibi matches. So Goda doesn't make sense. Could it be? Man, I have fucking no idea. I'm thinking that maybe to break free, maybe Rosa, maybe Rudolph, maybe. I think if this was the motive to break free. Oh shit, I don't know who could be. I think in the servants, but only Shannon and Goda were left in the mansion. And I don't think that Shannon was the one, nor Goda. They don't make sense. Yeah, I'm literally stumped right now. It could be Kinzo. Could be Kinzo actually. To break free from the Ushirami obligation of being the master. But then the game that he was making doesn't make sense. It still goes back to Eva. Maybe break free from being neglected over Cross, over her son being neglected over Jessica. Maybe Rosa breaking free from being the youngest sibling, being bound, being bullied by Cross. Maybe Rudolph being the second son, playing second fiddle to Cross. Because Cross doesn't make sense as the culprit, right? He still has half his face. The others don't, though. No, Cross has half his face. Shannon has half her face as well. The others don't have their faces completely destroyed. So it can't be Shannon nor Cross. Shannon was proposed last night, so she didn't need. She was already offered a path to break free from her duties as a servant. It was what literally George had said, so it couldn't have been Shannon. Man, this is so hard.
束縛からの解放どころか殺された上に倉庫に閉じ込められてたんやで。
No, this is the culprits speaking. It's a message from
別
the
にそ
culprit.
の6人のために魔法陣が描かれてるわけじゃないね。魔法陣のために6人はそこにいるんでしょう。お気の毒だよ。
Fucking hell. I'm lost. Actually lost right now.
どういう意味だい？魔法陣のために6人がいるってのは一体。
But if we flip the chessboard, why would they advertise that someone was breaking free of their obligations? Why would they advertise their own motive? That means there's another motive, a hidden motive. There's something here that's not being said. I'm being manipulated right now by the culprit to actually think that breaking free was the motive, but it isn't. They are advertising the motive, then that means there's an underlying thing. Maria lifted up her index finger and waggled it as if she were making fun of us.
それは演習部に書いてるよ。読めないかな？詩編第116編16節と17節。読んであげるよ。
It's just so smug.
主は私の枷を解かれました。私はあなたに感謝の生贄を捧げ、主の皆を呼ぶでしょう。ね？
ねって何を言ってるのかさっぱりだぜ。
生贄だってのか。
This is a message from the culprit to someone. Maybe to Maria. To Kinzo could be. Kinzo knows, Maria knows. If the part that Maria had just read out loud was a vital part of the magic sword. So basically, I think that Kinzo delivered the letter to Maria and challenged the culprit last night. And now this is a message by the culprit challenging Kinzo. Or maybe gloating about it to Kinzo or something. The part that Maria, if this is a game between Kinzo and the so-called Beatrice, Beatrice being the culprit, Beatrice being one of the siblings, Beatrice being one who already found the golds, and Kinzo challenged Beatrice with a letter delivered to Maria. Beatrice now challenges Kinzo with 6 people dead. Just like the Epitaph. Then, it was saying that the benefit of this magic circle requires sacrifices to be offered in exchange. So inside the storehouse where the magical circle had been drawn, the sacrifices have been offered. If it looked like everyone else had slowly arrived at the same conclusion. Some were shocked, some others spat out there insane as they punched their knees. This was starting to become a seriously disturbing story. And we couldn't accept it, nor understand it. They were not specifically sacrifices for the magic circle. They were there to show that the culprit took on the challenge. I don't care what kind of magic circles or curses or the people believe in. That's their right, and I won't pick a fight with them. But did they really kill Dad and the rest as sacrifices for some bullshit like that? No. This is completely wrong, battler. Come on, flip the chessboard. I just couldn't stand that feeling. I'd rather be discussed over all that talk about the inheritance. As I started getting pissed off with the feeling between anger and sadness, I broke from the circle everyone was in and returned once again to the window. Something had gone insane since yesterday. A letter from the witch Beatrice that Maria had read out loud at last night at dinner. Come on, think about it. Think the letter. The letter is important. The epitaph is doubly important. I feel like ever since that point we No, this whole mansion and this whole island had begun to be drawn into some kind of peculiar world. That's right. When I think back on it, the letter was an invitation from the witch. Come on, flip the chessboard, and you'll see that it was a challenge instead. A challenge to the witch. The ruler of the nighttime island had invited us inhabitants of the day into another world. With that phone and the radio interrupted and the island shut off by the typhoon, could now call it another world cut from the real one. Yes, on this island right now, it is perfectly normal for witches to send letters, for sacrifices to be offered to magic circles. That's what the culprit wants you to think. Come on, flip the chessboard. So what will happen next? Some weird people wearing gold masks start doing the Bond Festival dance or something? It's no good, I don't get it. The inside of my head is all screwed up. I don't even know what to think. Come on, the culprit is using Maria as a tool. Come on, you can guess this. Anger, sadness, the opposing emotions all swirled up together. They started to suck me in. Unable to resist, I could do nothing but cover my eyes with my hands and entrust my blinded body to the spiral swallowing me. Use those feelings of hatred to find the culprit. As I started losing heart, I began to recall a distant memory. It was from when I was very young. I had unfortunately seen a scary occult movie on TV. And for a while, I hadn't been able to go to the bathroom by myself. That old bastard had given an exaggerated laugh and said this.
なあ、バトラ。どうして悪魔だのオカルトだのってのをわざわざこうして映画にすると思う？ねえからだよ。そんな滑稽なもんは地球のどこにもねえのさ。ねえからわざわざ見たくて作るんだよ。だから俺はオカルト映画なんてちゃんちゃらおかしくて笑っちまうってんだ。
Come on, Battler, realize that this is all a ploy by the culprit.
俺に言わせりゃ、悪魔やら妖怪やらより、今年度の収支報告や機嫌を悪くした女房の方が1億倍も怖えってもんだぜ。
Even after death, Rudolph keeps going up.
さらに言うぜ。俺に言わせりゃな、怖がるってのは、心と生活にゆとりのある連中の娯楽的感情なのさ。暇でしょうがないから。連中は変わった感情で心を遊ばせたくて、悪魔だの、オカルトだのって文化を作り出したんだよ。
Rudolph is speaking facts right now. Come on, Battler. Seriously, why I have been acting so damn thick-headed? I was totally taken in. To hell with that shit. This is the human world. Yes, come on, Battler. Rise to the occasion. Like the main character you're supposed to be. As if I give a crap about witches, demons, magic circles, and sacrifices. The humans killed Dad, and everyone else was still on this island. That's all there is, right? Everything else is a distraction. Come on. The magic circle was the trap. Next to start speaking to my heart was Kirei-san. He's having a protagonist flashback from a shonen battle manga.
チェスや将棋ってね、終盤の終盤、詰めの最後の段階に入れば入るほど最善手は限られてくるのよ。
Yep.
だから自分が追い詰めている、あるいは追い詰められているというその時、両者の手は限りなく読みやすくなるのよ。つまり完全に追い詰められて打つ手なしって思ったその時こそ最も読みやすい瞬間なのよ。でも守勢に立った人間はどうしても考えが固くなって相手の手を読むことにまで考えが至らない。そういう時はね、チェス盤をひっくり返すの。
Yes, Kyrie, come on. Come on, Battler. With all my strength, I slapped my face with both hands. Now my eyes were truly open. and you don't understand anything. You're completely cornered just like I am now. Isn't that the perfect time to flip over the chessboard? With us put on the defensive, we couldn't even guess at the culprit's scheme. If you flipped it over and looked at it the other way, just how far could you see? First off, at the time when the murders were committed by the culprit, they knew that the island was cut off by the typhoon. Come on, Battler, you know. So, they should have understood that even if they carried out the murders, they still wouldn't be able to get away until the next morning. In short, the culprit had begun without securing a way to escape, because they want to kill everybody. Come on. You understand that, right? Furthermore, the bastard even tossed the corpses in the storehouse, while doing the courtesy of telling us they're here with that weird graffiti. In other words, since we would probably find the corpses sooner or later, they wanted to show us to them. If we all had been dim, and hadn't noticed the storage shed, perhaps the culprit's goal would not have been achieved. Oh shit. So the culprit is Canon. Because he was the first one to... Oh shit. Maybe Canon is the culprit. If you think about it this way, that murdering maniac, since this morning, must have been watching our every move with bated breath. The culprit is right here at the parlor, man. I'm saying that since the beginning. After all, if you hadn't been so kind as to discover what was on the storehouse, all of that hard work and preparation that they have done since last night have just gone poof. And who was searching outside? Canon. Canon was the one to find the graffiti as well. But it was weird. Something was weird about that, I guess. Remember that Hideyoshi and Eva ran after them in the rain just because they were curious about something. Because they were curious why Canon was so flustered, right? Canon didn't say anything. He just, I was about to get the key to the storage house, the Rose Garden storage. He didn't say anything about any weird graffiti. Just said he was a little bit spooked, right? Even so, Hideyoshi and Eva ran after them in the rain. That doesn't make any sense. Why would rich people go after servants in the rain? Just because one of them was a bit weirded out by something. That doesn't make sense. So there again goes my... So maybe it's not canon, but instead... Oh! Could it be... Could it be canon? Genji, Hideyoshi, and Eva as the four culprits? If I remember correctly, the events of this morning, Canon was searching for the people. He searched all over, couldn't find. Then he came back, informed that Natsuhi that he didn't find them. Natsuhi left. Then he talked about Genji with something, that he was going to pick the key to the garden storage. And then Ava and Hideyoshi deigned themselves to accompany the servants in the rain for some fucking reason. Ava and Hideyoshi are at the top right now. After all, if you hadn't been so kind as to discover what was on the storehouse, all that hard work and preparation that they had done last night would have just gone poof. What did the culprit want to make us feel by showing us the corpses in the storehouse? Yeah, Ava and Hideyoshi. Holy shit. All 6 of the bodies had their faces noticeably destroyed. A grudge. A warning. Defacement of the bodies had occurred after death. So it hadn't been the means by which the culprit had been murdered. So it didn't mean anything to those who had been killed. It had meaning to those who discovered it. The culprit wanted to show them to us. Look how brutally I killed them. Ha! After thinking this way, I really want to tell that asshole to stop taking me so lightly. Who would dance to their tune? If I'm told, please be scared, I'm not just gonna say, really? Sure thing. If someone tells the great Ushuramiya battler, entrance this way, I'm the kind of guy who started wanting to sneak in through the window. Yeah, battler, come on. Next thing that had me concerned was the attempted magic circle on the shutter. It was a genuine magic circle, declared authentic by even Maria, who had demonstrated her knowledge of the occult rivaled grandfathers. It must have drawn that thing in pitch black darkness while holding an umbrella in one hand. And it must have taken them a lot of time. That's a formidable amount of hard work and attention to detail. What purpose would have been worth all that effort? If something related to the occult had happened in the mansion, most likely we would have automatically suspected the involvement of grandfather. They want to make us think grandfather was involved. But if that was all they wanted, they could have just drawn any old scribble or looked like a magic circle. It wasn't like any of us amateurs could tell the difference between genuine and fake, but Maria knew. The culprit knows that Maria does because the culprit delivered the letter. It feels more and more that like the culprit actually delivered the letter. To Maria. Could Rosa, Ava, Rudolph. However, this magic circle was genuine. Furthermore, it had even been written in Hebrew. So this magic circle had a message that could only be understood by someone with the knowledge of the occult. A challenge to Kinzo. Messages are a form of communications. Send them and hope for a reaction from the other party. Reaction. For some reason, we couldn't find grandfather now. I don't know how grandfather could have managed to see the magic circle on the shutter. But had he chosen to hide himself in reaction to that sign? No, it was a trap to make us suspect grandfather's involvement. Read it either way, then that's annoying. What kind of reaction was the culprit hoping to get out of us by showing this imitation of the occult? Somehow that felt like the culprit's weak point. A section of Beatrice's letter that Maria had read out loud during last night's dinner sprang back into my mind. Part that said, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits. Sounds like fun. This is a battle of wits between us and the witch. No, battler. I'm sorry to say, this is a battle between you and the culprit. I don't think that you can trust other people right now. Which will be first? Us being swallowed by your occult games, or me revealing you for who you are? There's a whole day until the typhoon passes. Why not enjoy yourselves? I finally noticed that the inside of the parlor had gone quiet again. Everyone had sunk into their favorite sofas, some deep into thought. Some irritated, some depressed. Maria was once again enjoying the television, as if she had never left it. It looked like she found the commercial more fun than the boring program, and she happily yelled, "Ooh," and giggled. I stared at each person's appearance in turn. If there isn't a 19th person, the culprit must be someone in this room. Wait, where's Cannon? Right now, Natsuhi was searching the mansion with the servants, though, wasn't she? And shouldn't be in this room. In this mansion is what we should say. After all, there was also the possibility that Aunt Natsuhi was behind this, and we still couldn't deny that one of the servants could be the killer. If you think about breaking free, then Natsuhi could be also related to the anyone could be the bad guy, even me. Still, Natsuhi and the rest sure are slow. Of course, it's not a small mansion, but isn't this taking a little too long just to walk around checking the windows and doors? Shit, she's already dead. Just as I thought that, Aunt Natsuhi and the rest returned. Okay, she's not dead. Not one of them was missing. Okay. But our relief was short-lived. Everyone looked at Aunt Natsuhi, shocked. The talk I'd had with Auntie Ava started to creep back into my mind. Possibility that the culprits had enough numbers or weapons to kill all of us, those 6 at once.
What
the fuck?
万が一に備えて持ってきたものです。
Shit. Okay. Because that thing in Natsuhi's hand was a rifle. At a glance, its silhouette looked a lot like a hunting gun. It was unusually short and kind of looked like a kid-sized gun. However, it had a thickness to it, which revealed that this was definitely not some kid's toy.
それは金蔵さんの銃ですな。
ご存知でしたか？そうです。お父様の古いコレクションの中にあったことを思い出し、探し出してきました。
ひゅー、すっげえ。夏日おばさん、それ本物なんすか？
ええ、本物です。実弾を発砲できますよ。昔お父様は野鳥を追い払うのに使ったりしていました。
あら懐かしい。どこから出てきたんやら。私がいくら触らせてって言っても指一本触れさせてくれなかったやつよ。
へえ、じいさまこんなの持ってたんですか？知らなかったですよ。
お父様は昔西部劇にどっぷり使ってたことがあってね。あの世代はこういうライフル銃が大好きなのよ。
結構年季の入った銃のようですね。でも こんな短い仕様のは初めて見ました。
ああ、思い出したわ、その銃。懐かしいな。昔好きやった映画のガンマンが派手にぶっ放しとったやつだわ。お父さんも渋いな。
親方様がだいぶ昔にアメリカより特別にお取り寄せになられたものです。ご覧の通り実銃ですので、どうかこの件はご内密にお願いいたします。
手に入れられたばかりの頃は大層気に入られておりまして、撃つより薬莢を出す動作が面白いらしくて、裏の森でいろいろとかっこつけて遊んでおられたもんですよ。
しかし物騒ね。そんなものまで持ち出しちゃうのかしら。
万が一に備えてです。賊はおそらく一人ではないでしょう。しかも主人たちを6人も殺した恐ろしい相手です。私には主人に代わって皆さんを明日まで守る義務がありますので。
As Natsuhi's son said this, she slumped down into one of the sofas and took a deep breath. As well as checking doors and windows, she had also been trying to find grandfather. Since grandfather was not with her, apparently his whereabouts were still unknown.
屋敷内の戸締まりは厳重に確認してきました。ですが万が一ということもあります。みんななるべくここに一緒にいた方がいいでしょう。
そうね。ここに全員が集まって相互監視をしている方が安心だわ。
それはどういう意味ですか、エヴァさん。
別に夏日姉さんの意見に賛成しただけよ。
There was a dangerous atmosphere between the two of them. If you've thought about who stood to gain the most from the inheritance standpoint, Auntie Ava was the obvious answer. However, there was no proof that Aunt Natsuhi was innocent. No, if you view Beatrice's letter as grandfather's elaborate prank, and think of this incident as just an extension of that, it was more than enough evidence to doubt even grandfather. Aunt Natsuhi thought the criminal was on the outside, but Auntie Ava thought the criminal was on the inside. Even if the criminal is on the inside, it is best to keep together. In short, it was a question of whether or not 19th person exists. It was the doubt that had been repeated endlessly since last night's dinner, with a letter from the witch who called herself Beatrice. The culprit was among us, or not. Among us. And did the witch Beatrice exist or not? If you assume that something as stupid as a witch couldn't exist, it was the same as saying that one of the relatives here who shared a common bloodline was the culprit. If you didn't like that, it would be much more comfortable to simply accept the fairy tale about the witch. Did a witch do it? Draw that weird magical circle and sacrifice those people? If I could accept that rubbish, I would be able to completely trust everyone in this room. However, damn common sense got in the way. Kept repeating the witches didn't exist. In that case, the culprit was among us. In the middle of the seemingly endless rain, none of us could break out the silence. Shit, things are getting complicated, huh? Shit, time is passing. And now, it's at noon. So I'm ending things here. As I said before, things are getting too complicated and my theories are all over the place. Oh. So let's rank the characters before I get sleepy. Maria, fucking excellent this chapter. I don't know, man. This episode, she was fucking great. But Battler is climbing up. Battler is actually trading blows with Maria right now in the ranking. Coming in third place, surprisingly, Kyrie, back from the dead to give Battler some motivational speech. Then afterwards, Natsuhi with the shotgun or the rifle, I don't know. Then Rudolph, amazing as well. Ava, great as always. Man. Then afterwards, Rosa. Then afterwards, I think Cannon. Then Jessica. Then Shannon. Then Kamasaw. Then George. Nah, not George. Fuck George. Kinzo. Kinzo is climbing. Cross. Genji. Then George. Then comes in Hideyoshi. Koda. And Nanjo. Yeah. Man, I'm fucking loving Battler and Maria. Natsuhi and Ava are also really, really good. Jessica is somewhat redeeming herself a bit. George is still down in the dumps. Cannon is great, as always, needs more screen time. Masawa, she's okay. Genji, he's okay as well. Not too much on him. But still badass, I guess. Danjo is still nothing. Hideyoshi is still nothing, so that's it for the people who are still alive. Kinzo, he's missing, but I think he's dead. And that's it. Thanks for watching.